Massive news coming from Anthropic this week. They announced a new upgraded version of Claude 3.5 Sonnet, along with a new model Claude 3.5 Haiku, and a brand new capability called computer use, which literally lets Claude control your computer. Let's get into it. So first off, let's get into the new model releases, starting with the new upgraded Claude 3.5 Sonnet. As you can see here from the benchmarks, the model is pretty much dominating other state-of-the-art models like GPT-4o and Gemini 1.5 Pro. In graduate level reasoning, it scores 65%, up a little more than 5% from its previous version, which was already leading all other models. Then on the MMLU Pro, another slight improvement and outperforming all models across the board. Same thing for coding. In fact, its previous version was already leading on this benchmark. Then when we get into the math benchmarks, only Gemini 1.5 Pro is beating it, but if you take a closer look, Gemini 1.5 Pro scored 86.5%, but with 4-shot chain of thought reasoning, meaning it was allowed 4 attempts, unlike Claude's 0-shot, which is what it scored on the first try. Then it's beating every other model in the AIME high school math benchmark, and also on the visual MMMU. Now, where it gets a little more interesting is its score of 49% on the SWE bench verified, and 69.2 and 46% on the agentic tool benchmark. So the SWE bench is essentially a benchmark to test AI models' performance on solving real-world software engineering issues on GitHub. If we scroll down a little here, we can see the leaderboards for the SWE bench light, verified, and full. The SWE bench verified is typically more accurate. It was actually recently created by OpenAI back in August, and this new version of Claude 3.5 Sonnet has achieved a new record of 49%. This is actually kind of insane. I mean, earlier this year, most frontier models didn't even score more than 5% on this benchmark. I don't know if you guys remember Devin, the software engineering agent that kind of went a little viral for its impressive coding capabilities and score of 13.86% on the SWE bench. Now we have a ton of models scoring over 13.86%, and it seems like every other week there's a new high score on this benchmark. If you're wondering why OpenAI's O1 model is not on this leaderboard, I'm honestly not sure, but if we refer to Anthropic's website, they claim here that it actually does in fact outperform OpenAI's O1 model on the SWE bench. The updated Claude 3.5 Sonnet shows wide-ranging improvements on industry benchmarks, with particularly strong gains in agentic coding and tool use tasks. On coding, it improves performance on SWE bench verified from 33.4% to 49%, scoring higher than all publicly available models, including reasoning models like OpenAI's O1 Preview and specialized systems designed for agentic coding. So now let's take a look at Claude 3.5 Haiku. It states, Claude 3.5 Haiku is the next generation of our fastest model. Haiku now outperforms many state-of-the-art models on coding tasks, including the original Claude 3.5 Sonnet and GPT-4o, at the same cost as before. The new Claude 3.5 Haiku will be released later this month. And quickly, if we look at the benchmarks here, solid performance in reasoning, 65% on the MMLU Pro, which is impressive for a small model, insane performance on the SWE bench at 40%, and again on coding benchmarks even outperforming GPT-4o Mini, and nearly GPT-4o, which I believe scored 90.2%. Then in math, also pretty solid, and in reasoning and agentic tool use, of course outperforming every other model. I don't know what Anthropic did here with these new models, but they're clearly focusing heavily on agentic capability. Now let's get into the reason you probably clicked on this video, Anthropic's new feature, computer use. It states here, we're also introducing a groundbreaking new capability in public beta, computer use. Available today on the API, developers can direct Claude to use computers the way people do by looking at a screen, moving a cursor, clicking buttons, and typing text. Claude 3.5 Sonnet is the first frontier AI model to offer computer use in public beta. At this stage, it is still experimental, at times cumbersome and error-prone. We're releasing computer use early for feedback from developers and expect the capability to improve rapidly over time. So here's a demo of computer use in action.
So I'm Sam, and I'm one of the researchers here at Anthropic. Computer use is something that we felt was going to be important for a while now. And so today we're going to be talking about a very early version we have of computer use and talking through a representative example of the things we think it's going to be useful for. We're going to be going through a quick demo today. In this fictional demo, a customer, in this case the Ant Equipment Company, has come to us and asked us to fill out a vendor request form. The data I need to fill out this form is scattered in various places on my computer. What we're going to do is ask Claude to look at the spreadsheet, check if Ant Equipment is in there, and if not, move over to the CRM and try and find some more information there. Once it has this data, Claude's going to then fill out the form for us and hopefully transfer the information across to the vendor form. The first thing that's going to happen is Claude's going to start taking screenshots of my screen and quickly realizes that the Ant Equipment Company isn't actually in the spreadsheet. So the first thing it does is it swaps over to a CRM and searches for the company we're interested in. Luckily, we get a search match, and Claude then starts scrolling through the page, looking for all the information it needs to fill out this form. Claude then autonomously starts transferring the information across without me having to do anything, and goes through the steps and fills out all the information needed. And then submits the form. This example is representative of a lot of drudge work that people have to do. This is available in the API. We're excited for people to try it, and we should expect things to get a lot better over the coming months.
So this is literally just data entry, filling out a form, very simple stuff, but nonetheless extremely powerful. I mean, this could automate a ton of jobs, or at least parts of jobs, and keep in mind, this is the absolute worst it'll ever be. This is the very beginning of agentic AI. They also posted a second demo where they showed off its coding abilities, and this one is actually pretty crazy. Take a look.
I'm Alex. I lead developer relations at Anthropic, and today I'm going to be showing you a coding task with computer use. So we're going to be showing Claude doing a website coding task by actually controlling my laptop. But before we start coding, we need an actual website for Claude to make changes to. So let's ask Claude to navigate to Claude.ai within my Chrome browser and ask Claude within Claude.ai to create a fun 90s themed personal homepage for itself. Claude opens Chrome, searches for Claude.ai, and then types in a prompt asking the other Claude to create a personal homepage for itself.
Just to chime in here, this is literally an AI agent using an LLM to get a task done. Pretty wild.
Claude.ai returns some code, and that gets nicely rendered in an artifact on the right-hand side. That looks great, but I want to make a few changes to the website locally on my own computer. Let's ask Claude to download the file and then open it up in VS Code. Claude clicks the Save to File button, opens up VS Code, and then finds the file within my downloads folder and opens it up. Perfect. Now that the file is up and running, let's ask Claude to start up a server so that we can actually view the file within our browser. Claude opens up the VS Code terminal and tries to start a server. But it hits an error. We don't actually have Python installed on our machine. But that's all right because Claude realizes this by looking at the terminal output and then tries again with Python 3, which we do have installed on our machine. That works. So now the server's up and running. Now that we have the local server started, we can go manually take a look at the website within the browser. And it looks pretty good, but I noticed that there's actually an error in the terminal output, and we also have this missing file icon at the top here. Let's ask Claude to identify this error and then fix it within the file. Claude visually reads the terminal output and then opens up the Find and Replace tool in VS Code to find the line that's throwing the actual error. In this case, we just ask Claude to get rid of the error entirely, so it will just delete the whole line. Then Claude will save the file and automatically rerun the website. So now that the error is gone, let's go take a final look at our website, and we can see that the file icon has disappeared and the error is gone as well. Perfect. So that's coding with computer use and Claude. This took a few prompts now, but we can imagine in the future that Claude will be able to do tasks like this end to end.
So there was one more demo they posted which really shows off its abilities to surf the web autonomously and collect the information you need.
I'm going to show you a simple example of computer use today. My friend's coming to San Francisco next week, and I want to take him to do some touristy stuff. I think doing a sunrise hike with a view of the Golden Gate Bridge never gets old. So I'll ask Claude to figure out some logistics for us. I'll ask Claude to find a good place to see the sunrise, to help me figure out timing logistics, and help drop a calendar invite so I remember when I have to leave. It's opening Chrome, going to Google, searching, and it looks like it's found something. Great. So how far away is the location from my place? It's opening maps. searching for the distance between my area and the hiking location. Cool. So now it looks like Claude is searching for the sunrise time tomorrow. And is now dropping it into my calendar. And populating it with some details.
So that's Claude's new computer use feature, and it's obviously still in its very early stages. As they mention here, Claude 3.5 Sonnet's current ability to use computers is imperfect. Some actions that people perform effortlessly, scrolling, dragging, zooming, currently present challenges. So we encourage exploration with low-risk tasks, but we expect this to rapidly improve in the coming months. And further, they mentioned that they encountered some weird moments while running these demos. In one, Claude accidentally stopped a long-running screen recording, causing all footage to be lost. And later, Claude took a break from our coding demo and began to peruse photos of Yellowstone National Park. As you can see in this clip, they were trying to get Claude to build a website, and all of a sudden it types in google.com, goes to the search bar and types Yellowstone National Park, and goes on to look at a few pictures. I don't know what that's all about, it's honestly kind of odd, but it's clearly still an imperfect feature. Finally, the last thing I should mention is they do issue a warning for those who plan on using this feature. They state here, computer use is a beta feature. Please be aware that computer use poses unique risks that are distinct from standard API features or chat interfaces. These risks are heightened when using computer use to interact with the internet. To minimize risks, consider taking precautions such as 1. Using a dedicated virtual machine or container with minimal privileges to prevent direct system attacks or accidents. 2. Avoid giving the model access to sensitive data such as account login information to prevent information theft. 3. Limit internet access to an allowed list of domains to reduce exposure to malicious content. 4. Ask a human to confirm decisions that may result in meaningful real-world consequences, as well as any tasks requiring affirmative consent, such as accepting cookies, executing financial transactions, or agreeing to terms of service. And further, in some circumstances, Claude will follow commands found in content even if it conflicts with the user's instructions. Claude instructions on web pages or contain in images may override instructions or cause Claude to make mistakes. We suggest taking precautions to isolate Claude from sensitive data and actions to avoid risks related to prompt injection. So this is extremely important. Prompt injection is when someone will hide a malicious prompt that only the AI can read. Like for example, text that is the same font as the background or super small or something, and it causes the AI to disregard the instructions you gave it and perform a different task. We know these models can be jailbroken, and if you have a model constantly reading your computer screen, someone could easily send you an email with a malicious prompt that if you click on it may trigger an unwanted action, so just be aware of that. Anyways, that was Anthropic's new computer use feature along with their new Claude 3.5 Sonnet and Haiku model. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to leave a like. And as always, if you want to stay up to date on future AI news just like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button.